welcome to your Daily 5 for Wednesday, July 5th, 2023. I watched the first of 4 movies in a collection that I got from Vinegar Syndrome called the Apocalypse Tetralogy by a filmmaker named Peter Solskin. I'm probably mispronouncing that. I'll have a link, of course, so it won't really matter. But Solskin, I think, is how you're supposed to say it. And it's 4 different movies that comprise this tetralogy. I'd never heard of this filmmaker. I'd never heard of these 4 movies. But as I started reading about them, I was fascinated. So I'm watching them in order. And I watched the first one, which, depending on where you look, is either from 1979 or 1980. And it's called Golem. Golem. And it's Solskin's take on the classic Jewish mythology story of the Golem. And if you ever never read what that is, you should go read it, because it's been used, much like Frankenstein is a basis for a lot of different movies and stories. The Golem story is also, there's been numerous takes on it, including the actual filmmaking movies from the 20s and 30s, the German Expressionist films of it, but it has a deep reach. But essentially, a very short version of the story is the Golem is a clay human, or clay humanoid, I should say, a clay being who was brought into existence to wage war against the enemies of the Jews. And that's the fundamental part of the story. You can read the rest yourself and the variations on it, but that's the basic idea of the story. And so Golem takes that concept and morphs it a bit. In this version, there has been a nuclear war, Mad Max style, that has wiped out or poisoned a lot of the population. And there are scientists who are experimenting on trying to create a new type of human in a Golem-like fashion. Now, it's never really explained. We don't ever see the process. This is very low-budget filmmaking. It feels, in many ways, like... there's so many movies I felt when I was watching this. But I thought of maybe stuff like Solaris or Brazil by Terry Gilliam, where there's a very surreal... It does have a bit of German Expressionism in it, in the way that it's very simple. It uses a lot of shadow. It's doing a lot with a little. But what the story follows is a character named Parnat, who we are told in voiceover segments is one of these new beings. Maybe. There is a little bit of you don't really know in this, but he starts off and he's in a police station. He's being accused of murder. He doesn't know anything about it. Yet there seems to be another version of him in the police station, a second version of him there. He's given clothing that he says is not his, yet it fits him perfectly. He lives in an apartment complex where at one point he's told that he has a brother living there that has the same name as him. And all of this is, depending on how you interpret it, and it is a lot of interpretation for this movie. So if you don't like having to kind of form a lot of the pieces of the story yourself, don't even bother. Depending on how you look at it, this could be the scientists running experiments on him. This could all be in his mind. He could be imagining this because he is one of these new beings that is trying to acclimate to the world and trying to make sense of it. It could be that he is a human being who has radiation poisoning, and this is because he is surrounded by people who seem to be half out of their minds. And it is very possible he himself is also out of his mind because of fallout and poisoning from the environment, all the kind of aftermath of this war that has happened. So you're never really sure. So what you get is 3, 4, 5 days in the life of this person to just see what's going on and what his experiences are and how he's interacting with this wrecked world. And that's really it. So it's very fluid. It's very open to interpretation. I think intentionally so. It's meant to have you form your idea of what's going on. And that's what I like about it. I love the use of shadow of it. It's obviously trying to do as much as it can with a low budget and few locations. I think it does it really well. There's an atmosphere to it in the use of sound, in the way the visuals are done, that feels really claustrophobic and does feel like a post-apocalyptic world, even though we barely see anything of the world outside of a couple of apartment buildings and some interiors. So I think it does a great job in establishing atmosphere. I like the actors in it. I watched it with subtitles, so I don't know if the dubbing, if there is one, is any good or not. I didn't watch it that way. But I really liked it. Not for everybody. Again, this does have a lot of, okay, we're going to give you something but not exactly explain what it means. So you have to bring your own interpretation to the movie. I know some people don't like that. If that's the case, like I said, don't even bother. But it is on YouTube. I have the Blu-ray copy. The YouTube copy, I looked at it a little bit. It's okay. So again, it's called Golem 1979-80. If you like movies like I just described, might be worth checking out. Later.